Hello, I'm late. Hello. We're back with more Kenzie text. Hi. I'm not starting without you, Rebecca. Never. Hello. Hi, welcome back. Please tap the like button on your way in, guys. Please. It's a great free way to support. Welcome back. We are going to continue with Kenzie text reading. We are in the month of June of 2020. We finished, obviously. Hi, Evie. Hi. Let me say hello to everyone. We are starting brand new month from the 1st. We'll try to get to half the month. I'm not going to make this live too long because I'm going to be dropping some videos tonight, but we can at least try to get through half the month. It can be very time consuming because they fight a lot. So welcome back. Good to see everyone. I saw Evie, Tasmom, Debbie, Dustin, Banji, Crease, Rebecca, Jay Bari, Michelle, Wilson. What up? Good to see you guys. If you guys missed the live, what date are we on? We're on literally June 1st, 2020. So we're starting a brand new month. If you guys missed the live earlier, thank you, Rebecca. Appreciate you. We did a Candace Owens live earlier, if you're into that. It takes 3 hours to get through 1 month. I think longer than that, but yeah, just about out. Just about. So let's get started. Let's get right into it. Let me position my screens. Okay. Let's do that. Chat on the screen. Let's see. What did we leave off on? Let me go back. Always have to refresh. She's saying let's FaceTime. Okay, she said let's FaceTime when you're home, and that was at 11:02 p.m. Okay, so then it jumps to the 1st, midnight. Thompson, an attachment of something. I can't tell what it is. Kenzie responds with emojis and says at 1:02 a.m. She says, I don't though. Dom sends an emoji and he says, they caught you. She said, I just won't wear them anymore. Dom says, only in secret. She says, ooh, LMAO. She says, what are you doing up still? Dom says, watching YouTube with Angelo and Trey. Kenzie says, I keep waking up. Dom says, you want to FaceTime? And that was at 2:46 a.m. Thank you, Alicia. I appreciate you. Thank you for the cash appy. Kisses for Alicia. Thank you. Okay, says, can you help me figure out which slides to get? She says, I was just about to text you that. Yes. FaceTime me. She says, babe. She says, FaceTime when you're back charged. And then she sends a Twitter post about an attachment. Don't know what it is. At 3:58 a.m. And then at 10:48, she says, good morning, babe. She says, teeth thing on the way. Dom says, bet. She says, you trying to hang early today? It's going to be low-key nice today. Dom says, I was thinking about it. She says, just let me know. My outfit's cute. Dom says, I heard that people who own Town Hall are grapists. Kenzie says, WTF? Question mark. Dom says, and they own other restaurants and they're all weirdos. Kenzie says, are you for real? With a bunch of question marks. Dom says, they own Harry Buffalo and Barley House. Kenzie said, who is the grapist? Dom says, that's just what I seen. Kenzie says, what are their names? Dom says, I don't know. Look it up. Kenzie said, Strongsville? Dom says, look up Town Hall owner grapist. No, Cleveland, Dumbo. She says, okay, I will. Oh, okay. She said, wait, is Town Hall where we ate that one day? Dom says, yeah. She says, OMG, that's effed up. We should write them a bad review or something. The fries were so good, though. Dom says, say the owner is a rapist. Kenzie says, oh my God, I don't want it under my name though. You do it. And then she sends a picture of slides. She says, order number. Oh, so they ordered. I'm trying to see the brand. Don't know, but they look expensive. She says, what's up at 1:11 p.m. He says, what's up? She says, what are you doing now? He says, oh, I'm about to shower. She said, I think there's people protesting in Strongsville today. She says, not violent. Dom says, wild. She says, I'm gonna go see. Dom says, for sure. Kenzie says, hit me up after you shower. Dom says, okay. She says, there's 5 people I've seen so far, and they're just holding signs. Dom says, oh. Kenzie says, it's not bad at all, but it could get bad. Dom says, just me and Thomas are going to chill for a little now. Kenzie says, they right by the police station too. Scoop me after. Dom says, I'll let you know. She says, okay. She says, babe, Corona is getting big again at 2:07 p.m. Also, try to scoop me soon, please. Babe, you didn't even leave yet. I just passed your house. Dom says, I know. I'm getting ready. What the F do you mean? Hey, Nemo sign. Weren't they fighting when we left off? She was trying to get him to FaceTime. Off to a strong start compared to, it's about to get crazy. Don't you worry. Instacart delayed me. Damn you, Instacart. Ooh, garlic fries with garlic parmesan aioli. That sounds good. Dom says, I know, I'm getting ready. What the F you mean? Kenzie says, I thought you left, LOL. But bruh, there was a spray painted cat or car. Well, she put cat, but she did a typo. It's car. She says, at the protest with 5 people. You gonna be home soon? She says, Dom. She questions her on message. He doesn't respond. She says, I thought you were just going to smoke with them. Dom says, no, we've been trying to get fake IDs. Kenzie says, oh, are you leaving soon? I'm bored AF. Sad face. No response. She says, I told you I don't want to wait all day too. Please come get me soon. She questioned her on message. He says, we're just chilling here. She says, what do you mean? That makes no sense. I asked if you're leaving soon. Dom said, he's at my house. She said, oh, can I come over then and hang with y'all? Dom says, no. She said, bruh, isn't his girl there too? Dom said, no. It's just me and Thomas and Blair and Martin coming. Kenzie said, bruh, you could have told me, we could effing hang. You said you wouldn't make me wait all day. When you tell me you're quote unquote just smoking with him, that means you think you're going to be with him like an hour or 2. Dom says, I'm sick of hearing your shit. Kenzie says, I'm sick of you telling something than doing the complete opposite. Like, don't effing tell me we can chill early if you're just going to invite all your friends over. Dom says, I didn't. She says, it's effing annoying. I was waiting. When we was on FaceTime, question mark, you did. Like, this shit is annoying. You can just make me wait, then tell me you're inviting more people over. Like, you always put your friends before me. Dom says, whatever, we'll just chill another day. She says, nah. Thanks for making me wait all day when you said you were, I think she did a typo. When you said you were this gonna. Like, I'm so sick of this shit. I was effing waiting because you said you were just gonna smoke with them. Dom says, she sends an emoji. Maybe a little nicer, question mark. I don't deserve to get this shit done to me. Dom says, okay, I will. She sends an emoji. Also, that quote unquote, it's not be right time to introduce you is BS. Oh, like it's not the right time to introduce you is BS, she says. Dom says, okay, whatever, then I won't. It's cool. She says, you won't what? Dom says, I don't know. She says, how don't you know? I swear to God, you're a different person around your friends. Dom says, I'm texting you. Kenzie says, you told me you wouldn't make me wait all day. You were only going to smoke with Thomas, But then you invited hella people over. I mean, it's cool. I don't care that you're chilling with them. It's just the fact that you didn't tell me. Like, if you told me this morning you were going to chill with your friends all day, I wouldn't have been mad. Like, you got ready. I got ready with you on FaceTime. Dom says, I didn't know, but okay. Kenzie says, you don't have to get defensive. I'm just saying it's really frustrating when you're ready and waiting and then just a whole new plan. When they leave, come to Wallace Lake. Dom says, what are you doing there at 5:23 p.m.? She says, canoeing with Maddie. More people might be here. Or we can go out to dinner. Dom says, I don't know if I'm trying to go canoeing. Maybe go out for dinner. She says, I'm down for dinner. When you want to go? And you pick where. I'll eat anywhere. Dom says, I don't know. I just got done bawling. Now me and Blair just chilling. She says, me and Maddie canoeing right now. He said, for sure. Wait. So Psycho is out canoeing, but she's mad that he's hanging out with his friends and smoking. Hey, Bree. Hey, everyone that I missed in chat. Melly has the best thumbnails for being. I do. It's because I got all those snap pics. Anyways, talk about controlling biatch. Hi, Irony. Kenzie says, me and Maddie canoeing right now. Dom says, for sure. Dom says, when you going to be done? She says, you pick where and let me know when. Dom says, my mom and dad are making hella food. Come on, the corn on the cob and shit. Kenzie said, ooh, I want. Dom said, I know, we might have to do dinner tomorrow. Kenzie said, can Maddie come? It's cool if not. Dom says, and I don't think I'm doing anything. Kenzie said, bet, you pick where to eat. Is Blair staying for dinner? Dom said, can we go out to eat tomorrow? Kenzie said, yeah, can I come over for dinner tonight? Then Dom doesn't respond. And she says, we're probably not going to be here for super long anyways. And Maddie's going somewhere. Babe? She questions her own message. Text me back. Dom says, yeah, you can come. She says, when are y'all eating? We're still canoeing right now. And I still have to bring Maddie home. Also, is Blair staying for dinner? If so, can Maddie come too? Dom says, I don't know if Blair's staying that long. And I don't know. Kenzie says, what time are you eating, Dom? Dom says, I don't know. They're making food right now, I think. I don't know how long. Kenzie says, ask your mom about what time. Dom said, why? What time are you coming? She says, I'm trying to figure out what time to come, Dom. That's why I'm asking. I'll come at 7. She emphasized her message. Dom says, okay. It's already 6:50, by the way. She says, I'll be there in 20 probably. Gotta drop off Maddie. And that was at 7:04. Then at 1 a.m, Dom says, you still up? So they must have had dinner and then she went home. She says, good morning, baby, at 10:13 the next day. Let me come over when you're up. Is my bracelet still at your house? Dom says, I don't know. She says, I lost my bracelet. I don't know if it's here or at your house. It sometimes falls off when I'm sleeping. But do you want to hang like now or at 1? Why is it always like 1 before 4? Like always on her time, she thinks. How much did the vid mess with the dynamic? Like, didn't help make it less toxic. What do you mean vid? Like video? Don says, I don't know. Let me see what I got to do. Because he said, even if you have runs, can I just come with you? I want to hang when it's really nice out. I'll hoop with you when it's hot out. Babe, FaceTime me when you're done. I feel like this shows my butt too much. Dom says, you wear booty shorts every day. Kenzie says, my neighbor got a light blue caddy. Of course, when I go to Target, there's like no shoes that work. She says at 1:20 p.m. She says, I'm so annoyed. Dom says, that's gay. He says, what? She says, on my way. See you in like 10. Then she says, babe, where you at? He says, I've been picking up money. She said, are you going to come back soon? Question mark. He says, I'm mad AF at 2:42 p.m. And then it jumps to the next morning. Kenzie says, I don't know why. That's just how they set it up. Kenzie says, morning, babe. The next morning at 9:27 a.m. She says, I already want to smoke. Why you leave me on red? He says, it was by accident. 𝗍𝗫 called. I got like no sleep, back and forth, up and asleep. Kenzie says, I hate that. And did 𝗍𝗫 get off probation? Dom says he did. She says, OMG, holy shit, that's so good. Dom said, isn't that funny AF? Kenzie says, yes, holy shit. Now you can get the jag. Dom says, they just sold it yesterday. Kenzie said, what? Dom says, yeah, I know, I'm so salty. She said, that's so gay. Dom says, I know, I'm really mad. She says, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Dom says, I don't give an F. I'm mad AF. No, I still don't have AC. Dom sends a screenshot. He says, I'm so mad I just went off. Kenzie says, I feel it, babe. I wanted you to go. I just wanted you to be extra safe. Dom says, I don't give an F. Kenzie says, I just got a CBD cart, fruity pebble flavor. The cart isn't even hitting. Dom says, N-word, where you buy it? Don't buy no CBD shit nowhere. It's straight scam. Kenzie says, glass house. We're on the way back right now. She said, why is it bad? Dom says, never mind. I'm too mad. Kenzie says, okay, babe, hit me up when you're home. He says, I'm still here. She says, oh, you didn't leave yet? And that was at 11:21. And then at 12:04, she says, hey, babe, what are you doing now? It's getting really hard not to smoke. She says, babe? He says, I just got to Jared's. She said, oh, okay, when you're on the way back, can you scoop? He says, probably. She says, I'm at the lake with a daycare kid. How far away are you? We should go swimming. She questions her own message. He said, we can. You can come. I'm not going to be there yet, though. She says, bet, it's hot as hell. Okay, I'm coming, she says. Babe, how far are you? He says, where can we go swimming? I'll be home in like 15 tops, probably. Kenzie says, let me ask my mom. Dom says, let's try to find some private spot. She says, okay, bet. She says, come back. He's on the way over there. Realize how Sean is sitting with his girl and still... Oh, okay, so it jumps to like later in the day. So she says, come back at 8:18. He's on the way over there. And then it jumps to 11:16 p.m. And she says, realize how Sean is sitting with his girl and still being a part of the group. It's not that hard. She says, She says, bruh, you are so clueless. Dom says, you can be over here. Kenzie says, you can come the F over here. I don't want to smell cig straight into my effing nose or get bit by bugs. Like, why do you have to make this shit so hard? You can't walk over here. Dom says, okay. Oh my God, okay, when you're all alone from the group. Kenzie said, sideways face. Dom says, you can come over here and stand by me if you want. She says, like, if you wanted to come to me, like, if you wanted me to come by you, you would have told me come by now. So they're hanging out with friends and they're texting each other about standing next to each other and hanging out with each other. Has she ever invited Dom to eat at her house when he didn't buy and cook? No. No. She says, like, if you wanted me to come by you, you would have told me to come now. She says, I'm so salty. She says, bruh, at 11:37 p.m. She removes an exclamation. She says, oh, she liked her own message where she said, I'm so salty. Dom says, I did. She likes her own message again. She says, no, you didn't. Dom emphasized his message. She says, I'm so annoyed. Like, you're talking to everyone but me. That's when we were outside and you got up. Dom says, you're not talking and being a martyr. Kenzie said, first of all, I told you before we came outside I needed sweatpants and you just didn't get me any. So that pissed me the F off. Then we go outside and you just don't say a word to me for like 5 minutes. Then just go talk to everyone. Dom says, whatever. He says, I don't care. She says, no. You really want me to stop texting you and start talking? Dom says, I'm not letting you ruin my mood because you're not in a good one. Kenzie said, like, don't be an effing dick. Just say sorry. Dom emphasized his message. She says, and tell him to come. Okay, I'm going to say something then. You didn't even offer me anything. Sometimes you only think about yourself. Dom, I swear to God, why is it so hard for you to say sorry? He says, I'm sorry. She says, quote unquote, sorry. Yeah, all right. Dom says, sorry, I haven't been talking to you. Don't try to ruin my mood. She says, well, my mood is already ruined and you clearly don't care. And you still didn't offer me a shot. Like, you can ask everyone but me. Dom says, I didn't. She says, like, nah, when you asked me to come over to you out loud, then I'll accept your apology. Dom says, I wasn't asking. It's not my fault. They asked me and they said no. Kenzie liked her own message. Dom says, so I asked again. Kenzie said, when you asked me to come over to you out loud, then I'll accept your apology. Dom said, oh my God, you really got the audacity? Kenzie says, is it that hard? The audacity for what, bruh? Dom says, I'm mad AF now. I want to hit someone. You mother effer. Whoa. Kenzie says, you only care when it's about you, bruh. You should care about how I feel and try to fix it and not get mad. You couldn't even ask me to come over there. Like 20 question marks. Now you have to make a fight and you know I've been stressed. Now I'm mad as F now. You really gonna effing do that? Thanks so much for not making my stress worse. Like as soon as I effing walk next to you, you're gonna move. Like hell not. Next time you embarrass me, I'm going to freak the F out. Effing disrespectful. It's also so funny how you just let me walk away. Embarrass me 2 times in a row. That's raw. You really don't give an F at all. I don't know why the F I let you do this shit to me. If you don't come in here in the next 5 minutes, we're going to have issues. Dom, I swear to God. She loves her own message. Okay, we got beef right now. Thanks for making life a lot harder. When are you going to stop thinking only about yourself? When are you going to learn to stop to think only about yourself? If you wake up in the middle of the night, FaceTime me. Also, I'm sorry for today, babe. I hope you get a good night's sleep. So they were fighting at 12:20 in the morning. And then she ends up obviously going home because she says, if you wake up in the middle of the night, FaceTime me. Also, sorry for today, babe. I hope you get a good night's sleep. Love you. He sends an emoji. He says, sorry, babe, at 9:47 a.m. She said, it's okay, babe. If you're not busy today, you want to go canoeing? She said, sorry, I slept in a little. He says, it's colder today and I'm not doing shit. I'm doing some shit. I'll tell you about it later. She said, okay, that's fine. I didn't know it was cold. I got hella anxiety. She says, I've just been laying here for like 5 minutes trying to calm down. Dom says, just chill and watch some TV or something. She says, I'm good now. I'm watching the kids. He goes, Dom says, who's Lana and Gianni? Kenzie says, all 3. Look at Insta. Dom says, I did. And that was at 11:51. And then she says, text back. I'm about to wash my hair. She said, it's coming tomorrow. Dom says, bet. Thanks, babe. He says, what food should I pick up? She says, have you had Penn Station recently? He says, sometimes it ain't as good as you got any other ideas? She says, I don't know, to be honest. Some reason, the only 2 places I can think of is Chick-fil-A and Penn Station. You could go to Arby's. Their fries sound good AF. He says, I'm getting Penn Station. She says, that sounds good. I don't know how to spell it, but I got a sty. Okay, well, we know she got a sty from her nasty lashes. But I don't understand how they go from fighting and being so toxic to each other and then like nothing even happened. I need some time. I'm like, okay, you need to like back up off me for a minute, you know? We're gonna have issues, girl. You always have issues. I know. She's like, I got a sty in my eye. Ew, because you nasty. Wash them lashes because you got lash mites. They're both manic. Yeah, Penn Station be hitting like that though. I don't know what that is. I don't have that here. She's very manipulative to say the least. A lot of gaslighting. Maybe he didn't want to witness. He gave an adolescent alcohol. Slow AF, cringy. How many of you like your own messages? Raise a hand. Me? No. I like mine sometimes on accident. and then I unlike it, and then I like the right one. But she's just doing it to try to get his attention, like a psychopath. So I guess we're not really psychopaths, Sevy. With bugs, she got lash mites in her lashes. Do you guys see some of those pictures where her lashes are like her eyes are swollen? That's what it is. She's having an allergic reaction. Um, my stomach hurts. Stressed. You are, Alicia? Your stomach? Or you mean Kenzie? Mm. She says, I don't know how to spell it, but I got a sty. Shit's uncomfortable. Dom says, where did you get it? She said, on my eye. He says, oh no. She said, yeah, it's gay AF. Dom says, you can def remove it easy. I wouldn't worry about it at all. She says, I'm about to put a tea bag on it so it goes away. He says, oh, really? I didn't know it was that easy. She says, that's what my mom said. I don't know. I'm on the trampoline with 8 kids. He says, LMAO. She says, when you're done with your shit, can you scoop? And then she sends a link to some shoes. She says, look how much these are. He says, really? Angelo has those. She said, bruh, I know. Dom says, wild. She said, Angelo could sell those for like 2K. Did you see what I said about scooping me after? Dom said, after what? She said, after you do all your shit. Dom says, I'm waiting on my dude. He's 40 minutes away. Kenzie said, FaceTime. She says, I for real have my own laundry basket and my mom still effing put my clothes with other people's shit. So effing annoying. Wait, I think I've asked you guys this before. Thank you, Wilson. Who got it? Why YouTube doesn't show me, my bad. Pizza got it? Yay! Woo woo. Why is YouTube and StreamYard suck? They need to figure their shit out before I block them. They don't tell me I have to go and look at it a different way, but I think pizza got it. Scoop the poop. Yay. Thank you, Wilson. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. Congrats, pizza. Yeah, congrats, pizza. She says, okay, anyways, I was saying my mom would not do my laundry in high school. Like maybe you guys are different or whatever, but my mom would be like, bitch, do your own laundry. Like for real, straight up. She would be like, what? Like maybe not in high school, but like maybe when I was going through like part of my pharmacy program, then I was older. I will admit. And she would wash like my scrubs. But that was about it. Like if I was like busy with school all day and stuff, she would be like, "Do you want me to wash all your scrubs?" And I'm like, "Yes, please." But I'm doing my daughters now. Yeah, but I think when your daughter does like curriculars and like Kenzie's different. Like she just sits on her ass all day and gets high, you know? Like she ain't working. She ain't out there going to school getting good grades. She's not out there like shoveling the snow. She's not out there doing her chores. I just buy new stuff after one use. You do? Wait, Wilson, stop right now because that's a problem. Hey, Mallory. I'm Abby says, hell nah, I did my laundry. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like my mom would throw it at me and she would be like, do it yourself. She'd see, that's what I'm saying. She does, yeah, that's different. It's different. Damn, Wilson's like, I just buy everything. Anyways, but no, my mom would be like, nah. And then she complains about it like this. Like, how ungrateful. Kenzie says, so effing annoying. Dom says gay. Kenzie says question mark, question mark. Dom says, that's gay AF. She says, I know, I'm so salty right now. When are you gonna be free? I'm really bored, she says at 4:41 p.m. Dom says, my homie just got here. She says, finally. After that, scoop? He doesn't respond. She says, question mark? He doesn't respond. She says, I'm so annoyed. Like, now I can't find any of my effing shit because it's mixed with everyone else's. Dom says, sort it out. What they gonna do with it? She says, what? Can you scoop me when you're done with that guy? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Dom says, he's already gone, but I'm gonna do stuff for a little. She says, what are you gonna do? How long do you think it's gonna take? He doesn't respond. And she says, did you mean to leave me on red? Question mark, question mark. Dom says, no. Oh, wait, I got new emojis. New emojis. Do they work? Okay, I'm gonna have to redo the question mark one because they're black question marks. I don't know if you can see those. I bought a tea on TikTok that says salty. Wait, I want that. I always wanted to do my own laundry. My mom would not do my laundry in the 6th grade, just laying around making everyone irritated. No. No. Let me take a drink of my drink. Okay, so she says, question mark, question mark. Dom says no. Kenzie says, well, are you gonna answer? She removes a question mark. She says, question mark, question mark. Dom says, I don't know. Let me smoke with Smeesh and Kyle real quick. She says, after that, can we hang? I'm really not trying to wait. Dom says, yeah, we can. She says, okay, come scoop when you're done. And that was at 6:04. And then at 6:27, she said, it's been a while. Well, I don't know how he deals with this. I don't see nothing. No. I'll have to remake them. Oh, it's okay. I'll redo them. Oh, there. Okay, it's okay. Comment, comment. Do we like him or no? Just curious. Maybe the question mark I'll change and the like I'll change, but I do like this heart. Ooh, they look cute. The purple one looks cute, and the heart does too. Actually, they're not that bad. Okay, okay, I'm working on them. I'm gonna make one of them my butt cheeks. Just kidding. Okay, anyways, let's move on. She says, I'm just seeing if you're awake. She says, it's been a while. 20 minutes later. She questions it. He says, about to be home. You can come. She says, okay, I'm about to come at 6:32. Then she says, when you coming back? At 11:13. Babe? He says, I'm about to leave. She says, yay. You want to FaceTime? He says, yeah, give me 5 minutes. She says, okay, bet. He says, probably less. She said, FaceTime whenever. He sends an emoji. I feel like, is he already starting to change a little bit here? Because she's like, FaceTime me before bed. And he's like, yeah, yeah. And then she's like, I have to sneeze. Oh, it went away. She's like, you ever heard of the thing like when you think of a watermelon and then your sneeze like goes away? That's what I did. I can't see them. I'm blind. That's funny. Really? Anyways, wait, you can't see them at all? Okay, I'll try to fix them. I'll try to make them bigger. Pause. Yeah, I feel like he's starting to change here a little bit. Oh my god, my sneeze keeps going away. She says, good morning, babe, at 9:28 a.m. He says, good morning, babe. She says, how'd you sleep? Dom says, I slept, I ate. When this package about to be here? She said, probably when the mail comes today. Both of the things are coming today. She says, Lincoln texted back, I'm scared again. LMAO. Dom said, bet. And LOL, bet. Wait, Lincoln? I don't know why she said I should be scared. Kenzie says, can I come over in like 30 minutes at 10:52 a.m.? Dom says, yeah, but would you care if I went to Trevor's after the hot plate? Kenzie said, that's cool. And aren't we going cliff jumping today? Dom says, probably. They might bail though. Kenzie says, you think? I don't think they will. Dom says, they were drinking. They might be tired. She says, I hope they go. Dom says, what time is the stuff coming in? She says, I don't know what time exactly, but it's going to be here today. Probably when the mail comes. Dom says, it doesn't say what time. Kenzie said, it says 8 p.m., but I'm almost 100% positive that it comes when the mail comes. It's probably coming around 3 or 4. Dom said, to my house or yours? She said, yes, yours. Both of them on the way to your house. She says, babe, can I come through now? Dom says, yeah. She says, okay, on my way. She said that at 11:26 a.m. And then she says at 5:48, there's a surprise when you get back. Dom says, yay. She says, come in the garage when you're back. She said, how's everything going over there? Dom says, good. Kenzie said, oh, that's good. My sneeze keeps going away. She said, oh, that's good. Are you bringing one back? And when are you coming back? Can you just hurry back? Dom says, yeah. Kenzie says, question mark, are you coming back soon? Babe, you said you would only be there for 30 minutes originally. And it's not even really that hot anymore, so we can't even go swimming. She says, okay. She says, what the hell? You told me you would hurry back. It's been like 40 minutes. And you're not answering either. I'm for real getting annoyed. She says, bruh, WTF at 7:14 p.m. I've been waiting here for you for over an hour. You said like 30 minutes. WTF. Dom, OMFG. You have been there for 2 effing hours, bruh. I'm for real about to flip. No response. She says, shake my effing head. I'm hungry AF too. Dom says, be back in 10. Sorry, it got super confusing. She says, I'm so salty. 2 hours? Dom said, no, it wasn't. She sends a screenshot of the time. She said, and you said when you came back that you would only be there 20 minutes only. Like you could have at least told me you were going to be there for 50 minutes. So are you on the way back now? Dom says, yeah. Here at 7:37 p.m. He says, I don't know what that means. STY. She says, K. Then she says, Dom says, are you asleep? At 11:48 p.m. So they must have hung out and then she went home. She says, yes. Come in here. Dom, I need to pee bad. Who's in the bathroom? Oh, so she stayed at his house. That's what it sounds like. Because she said, come in here. I need to pee bad. Who's in the bathroom? She says, I have to pee so bad. Dom, sideways face. She emphasized her own message. She says, where are you? She kept emphasizing her own message. It's literally midnight. She says, where are you? Okay. Dom, can you come in here? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Okay, and then it jumps to the next morning. 10:40 a.m. Morning, babe. I love getting woke up by my house being loud as shit. Dom says, I love that. She says, LOL, how'd you sleep? Wait, so I don't know if she was over there or not. The last message was at 12:38 in the middle of the night. And then she wakes up at home, so I don't know. He says, I love that. She says, LOL, how'd you sleep? He says, not that good. Tired AF. She says, I slept pretty good other than getting woke up by people being loud as shit. Dom said, the smile. Oh, I think he said the stuff still ain't here. Kenzie said, it's going to be here when the mail comes. I checked this morning. Dom said, for sure. She says, what are you doing today? When are you going to be back from Trevor's, babe? There's going to be a protest at 2. Dom says, I just got here. She says, okay, babe, do you want to scoop me when you're done? He says, I probably could. She said, okay, have fun, babe. Also, guess what I just found out? Dom says, what? She said, I can't eat after 12 the day before my dentist. Dom said, yeah, 12 a.m. She says, yes. Dom said, that's not bad. She says, I drink warm milk before bed, though. What are you, a fucking baby? Like, she wants her warm milk in a bottle? Wait, the warm milk text, remember? With her dad? So I guess she does really drink warm milk like a baby. June 2020, she was 15, maybe her birthday. Yeah, you're right, Lakeside. Hey, Lo. Hey, Mal. She's about 15 to 16 years old. This is my theory. I don't think they have been sexually active until about this point, and he really changed when they did. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. If they've had sex, they probably have only done it like once. Oh Lord. Baby bottle, baby. Yeah, she said right here, I drink warm milk before bed though. Wait, who else in the chat drinks warm milk before bed? I don't. I'll drink a beer before bed. I'm a bad influence. Don't listen to me. Ew, she probably has milk teeth. Is that what that's called? Wait, she drinks warm milk. Ew, no. Valerie said, she says, I drink warm milk before bed though. Dom says, I did the same shit. She says, it helps me sleep. Really? Let's look that up. Is warm. Maybe it's true. Oh, it can help you sleep for psychological comfort. Oh, maybe because she's a psychological crazy psycho. I make my kids drink warm chai when they're sick. That's different. I like chai. Chai is like, it's a tea, right? Tea or cocoa. I've heard it helps people sleep. Really? You better put some weed in my warm milk. Then I'll drink it. Natalie probably still nurses it. Nini, stop it right now. It's just odd. Oh my God, you guys are funny. Okay, let's move on. She says, it helps me sleep. Put it in a baby bottle. I'm just kidding. She didn't say that. She just said, it helps me sleep. I make kids potato soup. When they're sick, right? Not before bed? Question mark, question mark. She says, it helps me sleep. Dom says, drink warm milk at 10. She says, I'm probably going to be at your house. Dom says, LOL. She says, okay, babe, I'm about to go tan. Hit me up when you're done with that shit. She says, I'm going to slide down the waterfall. Dom says, okay, babe, I'll pick you up when we do the run or 2. Then I shower, then we go eat. She says, when are you scooping? That sounds good. He says, I don't know. I'm gonna, I don't know. I'm gonna busy some, I think there's a typo. I don't know. I'm gonna be busy till then. I'll let you know. She says, question mark. Okay, I'm shaving right now. She's shaving because she was always hairy, but that always reminds me of Jip shit. Remember when she killed her mom? She was like allegedly she was shaving. She was probably still latched on to Natalie. Stop, that's funny. She says, okay, I'm shaving right now. She said the tea thing delivered. She says, you about to be ready to hang at 3:37 p.m. Dom says, still doing some stuff. She said, are you I have to sneeze? Huh. Okay. I make my kids a spiced tea with local honey. I don't see Kenzie drinking warm milk before bed. Um, she says, apparently though, she says, still at Trevor's? He says, yeah. She says, okay, try to scoop soon. Dom says, I'm trying. Can I go to Thomas's at 9 though? His mom's not home. She said, probably. I don't really care. We'll talk we'll talk when you scoop. He said, for sure. He says, I'm waiting a sec, then I'm a bust ass again. She said, how much longer are you gonna be? Dom says, I don't know. This shit's heating up. Kenzie said, I still want to go out to eat tonight. Please hurry, Dom. He says, I spilled shit like 3 times. It's effed. Kenzie said, oh my God, is everything sticky? Can you please try to scoop me soon? I want to have time to go out to eat. She says, Dom. He says, here. Okay, here at what time was it? 5:11 p.m. And then they're playing games. So they're hanging out and they're playing. What game is this? I don't know. Word Hunt. They're playing Word Hunt. Oh yeah, I remember this when they start playing games. I'm going to just skip. Okay. Oh, she says they're playing Word Hunt, and then at 9:57 she says, "Tomorrow, can I move my plants to your house? Also, it says Morgan was at your house 1 hour ago on Snap." She questions her message. Dom says, maybe in Chris' car. She says, did you see what I said about plants? And what are y'all doing? My stomach hurts so bad. Dom says, yeah, I'll talk to you about it. He says, we're just playing Pong. She said, who's all there? I feel like shit. Dom says, I'm sorry, what's wrong? He says, Eric, Tyler, or Ty, all of them. It's dope. If I come back, I'll pick you up and cuddle you. Okay, he said that at 10:19 p.m. She says, that sounds fun. Smiley, I think I just ate too much. Like it's effed. She likes his message. She says, I'm trying so hard to make my tummy feel better. Dom says, just go to sleep. I won't be back. She says, okay, babe, tomorrow morning, let's chill. Have fun tonight. He says, probably. She said, okay, yay. I'm probably going to try to go to bed soon. She says, if you drink, don't get too effed up. He says, I'm cool. She says, okay. He says, I am drinking though. She said, okay, babe, just be careful and have fun. He says, okay, babe. And that was at 11:44 p.m. And then the next morning, we're on the 7th. She says, you're not here? Question mark, question mark. And the door is locked and it's cold AF? Question mark, question mark. She continues to question him. I'm just sitting outside. Where are you? She says, Dom, I'm getting really annoying. She says, OMFG, do you want me to leave, Dom? She says, why did you tell me to come over if you're not effing here? Now I'm just sitting on your stairs outside in the effing cold. This is not cool. I woke my effing dad up to bring me. Dom, I swear to God, this is not funny. WTF. I'm still mad AF. You don't effing tell me to come over at 6:40, then let me sit outside in the effing cold for this long. I'm so mad. Like my mom and my dad went back to effing bed, bruh. Where the F are you? I'm effing pissed. I could be sleeping right now. What the F? I'm so mad right now. If you don't come back, we're gonna have an issue. Thanks. I just had to climb in the window. I'm so effing mad. Thanks, Dom. How you feeling? Babe? He says my stomach is effed. Wait, so she went over there at 6:40 in the morning. I don't know why. I don't know if she just assumed that when he said, "Let's cuddle," or if he told her to come over. It doesn't sound like he told her to come over. And then she climbs through the window. Who wants a girlfriend that's gonna climb through your window? I'm just curious. Let me know in the chat if you want a girlfriend that's gonna climb through your window. And then maybe I'll consider climbing through your window. And he says that's stalker chit. Won't you want to be there by 6 a.m.? Dude, because when I said when she said, you're such a stalker. Imagine your girlfriend climbing through the freaking window, dude. Oh my god, if my boyfriend, future boyfriend ever did that, like, we're breaking up, you're already blocked. Don't even try to call. That's crazy. Michael Myers could take her. She's hearing voices. Dude. Okay, so it jumps from whatever. What time was she over there at? 6:40 AM. Yeah. And then she says, "How you feeling?" At 2:51 PM. She says, "Babe." He said, "My stomach is fucked." She said, "Sad face. Did you puke?" Dom says, "No, I'm trying." She says, "You should probably just take a sip of beer or something. Chug water. That helps you puke, by the way." Dom says, "Nah, it's just hella air coming up right now." She says, "I hate when that happens. Try chugging." Dom says, "Nah, that'll make it hurt more." She said, "If you can't puke, just come out." Dom says, "I'm shitting." She says, "Okay, are we gonna go to the beach soon?" Dom says, "I don't know. I know I didn't like that either." She says, "She better stop that shit." Oh, wait, the time jumped. That's why we're confused. I'm like, wait, what? So she's saying, let me go back. He says, "I'm shitting" at 3:07 PM. She says, "Okay, are we going to beach soon?" He says, "I know, I didn't like that either" at 8:42. So it jumps from 3:07 PM to 8:42. Dom says, "I know, I didn't like that either." Kenzie says, "She better stop that shit." She says, "Where you at 10:18. She says, "FaceTime if you want." And car windows were open. Dom says, "Oh no." He says, "Text me when you're up." The next morning at 9:53 AM. She says, "Good morning, babe." He says, "Good morning. How are you feeling right now?" Kenzie said, "Worried AF. I'm trying to tell myself it's going to be okay, but I'm scared." Dom says, "You'll be fine. They ain't do 10 years of college and medical school for nothing." Kenzie says, "Yeah, true. I never did anything like this before. I'm going to wear your hoodie there, so I think of my babe." He said, "Aw, yeah, you'll be fine. Once you fall asleep, you'll wake up like nothing happened. Probably just be super tired." Kenzie said, "I hope that happens. I'm going soon." She says, "You gotta come see me after." Dom says, "Okay, I will a little later because you'll probably sleep most of the day." She says, "Okay, babe." She says, "Also, I'm on FaceTime with Maddie," and she says, saying to sell Mar so she doesn't have to. Dom says, "Yeah, he was talking to me about the weed and then didn't text back." Kenzie says, "LMAO, babe. I made a TikTok, but it's private. I'll show you when I'm with you." Dom says, "LMAO. Okay, bet." She says, "I'm so scared right now" at 11:44 AM. Dom says, "Are you there yet?" She says, "No, I'm going at 12:30." And then at 12:05, she says, "I'm so effing scared. Do you want to FaceTime for a sec?" "Babe, please answer Insta." She says, "I'm about to go to sleep." "Thanks for answering." He said, "Sorry, I was driving." She says, "So I'm effing mad." Dom said, "Why? How did it go? Are you okay?" She says, "They didn't effing put me to sleep." Dom says, "Why? Were you okay?" She says, "No." Dom says, "What happened?" She says, "I'm so effing mad." Dom says, "Did it hurt?" Kenzie says, "They didn't even effing put me to sleep. They just numbed my effing mouth. Now I didn't smoke for nothing." Dom says, "So did it hurt?" She says, "They didn't even do it, Dom." Dom says, "You'll get so high though, Kenzie." She says, "They just numbed my effing mouth." Dom says, "And now we can go to Olive Garden." She says, "I'm so effing mad. Can I come over as soon as I'm home? I'm effing pissed. My mom lied." Dom says, "I'm sorry, babe." She says, "I'm so effing mad." Dom says, "Don't be mean to me though." Kenzie said, "Now my mouth is numb. I'm not going to be mean to you, babe." Dom says, "It'll only be numb for a little. They would probably numb it anyway if you were asleep." She says, "Can I come over when I'm home?" Dom says, "Depends when my dude gets here." She says, "Please, I'm so pissed. I want to get the F away from my mom." Wait, so she's mad that they only numbed her to go to the dentist. Dude. I'm cracking up. Yeah, she thought she was gonna get her 12 cavities. She thought she was gonna have laughing gas, but they were like, "Bitch, we're just gonna numb you up." Um, that's pretty funny. She says, and now she's mad at Natalie for it. She says, I need to get the F away from my mom. She effing lied. Dom says, he should be here soon. Kenzie says, okay, good. I'm going to be home soon, she says at 2:39 p.m. Roll a backwood. I'm so effing mad. I could effing kill someone. Let me know when I can come. I need to leave my house ASAP. I didn't smoke for 4 days for effing nothing. Dom says, it'll be cool. She says, is he going to be there soon? It's not going to be cool. Dom says, I don't know. I have to wait for him. Then I got a dip. She said, now I have to make another appointment. She says, bruh. Dom says, did you not get your teeth drilled? She says, can you just pick me up then? She says, no, bruh. Dom says, I have to dip for 30 seconds. She says, they just numbed me. Then I left. Dom says, why? Kenzie says, I don't effing know. I'm so mad. Like they said, I was getting put to sleep when I was away. The wild time I felt every effing shot in my gums. I'm not going back to that R word. I'm going to be home soon. I don't want to see my mom. Can I just walk to your house when I get home? He says, no, you can't. I'm waiting on my dude. She said, rush him. Dom said, I can't. She said, why can't you rush him? I'm so effing mad. Dom says, because I don't know him. She said, I want to get the F away from my mom. Dom says, just go chill out for a sec. Kenzie says, she effing tricked me. I'm not getting my teeth fixed anymore. I just didn't smoke for 4 days for nothing. Wasted my effing time. Dom says, why aren't you getting them fixed? She says, because I don't give an F anymore. Dom says, oh. She said, yeah, and that kid, that one needs to hurry the F up. When he leaves, come get me. She says, I'm home. Did he come? Dom said, his dude on the way. She says, how far away? Dom says, I don't know, like 20 minutes or something, maybe less. She says, could I just wait? Could I just come right now and wait in your room? Dom says, he was supposed to call me back and let me know how far the dude is. Kenzie says, I'm walking over. When do I come? Walking is going to take a minute. I just want to come now. Dom says, you're pressuring me and it's pissing me off. She says, sideways face. Dom says, he hasn't been hitting me up. Kenzie said, so he didn't come yet? Dom says, no, not yet. She says, bruh, today has been the worst day of the year. You went to the dentist and they didn't numb you up. How is it the worst day of the year? Like, get over it, Kenzie. She had a fit in the dentist chair. Wait, I don't understand what they did. Hey, Jenna. Good to see you, Jenna Gypsy. She's so annoying. Mallory. She's mad about her cavities. She needs a mental evaluation for raising a child like Makilla. What about the sister? Does she raise herself too? You know what? Beautifully broken. I'm concerned if the sister has 10 cavities. Yeah, she doesn't love anyone by herself. She says, today has been the worst day of the year. Dom said, well, that's good. She said, how is that good? Dom said, a lot of people seen worse days. Yeah, Kenzie, you're lucky you can even go to the dentist. Like, what an asshole. She says, well, I'm not talking about other people, Dom. I'm talking about the dentist effed me over. Now I have to sit here on 2 different medicines that I have no clue what they are with a numb ass mouth. I can't do duck lips. Dom said, just look them up. Wait, I'm dying. She said, I can't even do duck lips. Sorry. She says, my mouth is so numb, I can't do duck lips. Duck lips. Ew, thank goodness. We don't want to see you do duck lips, you nasty. Dom says, just look them up. She says, I can't look them up. They just gave me them. Dom says, oh, I don't know. You're probably fine. She says, I am not fine at all. Dom says, yeah, stop complaining. People have seen worse days. Life is a blessing. She says, I'm so mad for my mom telling me I'm going to be put to sleep. Dom says, I don't know. Kenzie says, like, she knew I was going to be up and she effing lied. I felt every shot in my mouth. And your homie is taking way too long. Dom said, who cares? It's over. She said, what? She said, what you typed made 0 sense. As soon as he leaves, can I start walking over? Dom said, who cares? It's over. She says, I care because I just wasted my effing day. And I wasted 4 days of not smoking when I could have smoked. As soon as he leaves, can I walk over? Dom says, who cares if you didn't smoke for 4 days? She says, I care. Dom says, it doesn't matter now. She says, I've had the worst anxiety. I smoke to make my anxiety chill. As soon as he leaves, can I walk over? He says, I mean, I guess. She said, OMFG, what? Question mark, question mark. He says, I mean, I guess. He says, you're making me so effing mad. She said, why are you getting mad at me? You're supposed to be there for me. Dom says, you're so unreasonable. She said, I just got 4 shots in my mouth and my dentist was effed. How am I being unreasonable? This isn't fair to me. Dom says, you're being bitchy. She says, wow. No, I am not. And I'm a little out of it from the weird pill they gave me. You need to chill out and be nicer to me. I just got back from a stressful ass appointment. Dom says, you need to chill out and be nicer to me. Kenzie says, I am being nice to you, Dom. Dom says, you don't know the stress with I deal with. Kenzie said, it's not a race to see who has the most stress, Dom. I'm just saying. Like, today was really effed, and now I have another appointment where I have to get an IV put in my arm, and I can't smoke those 4 days either. Dom says, oh my God, it's not a race. She says, like, half of my face is numb, and I'm kind of just out of it. Just chill on me. I'm not trying to be quote unquote bitchy. She says, yes, I know, Dom. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to come over so I can get the F away from my mom that lied. I don't know why you started getting mad at me either. That's stressing me out. Dom says, you don't know what the F is going on. Okay, so don't get on my case. She says, Dom, I'm not. I'm just trying to come over. No response. Question mark? What is going on? This is really upsetting me. I told you I'm numb and I'm a little out of it. Did that guy come through yet? Dom says, bruh, stop at 4:09 p.m. She said, stop what? I don't know why you're treating me like this right now. I'm not trying to argue with you. You said I could come over after. You're really stressing me out right now. Please stop being mean. Dom says, stop effing bothering me. Like, what the F? I do so much shit. And if I don't answer your text for 5 minutes, you got to call me. Like, get the F out of here. Remember what I said about people stressing me and wasting my time? She says, WTF. You did not need to say that. That was really mean. I'm allowed to ask you if that guy came and left. Dom says, you're worried about your teeth. I'm worried about my future. Yeah, Kenzie. Your teeth is not more important than his future, okay? Let your teeth fall out. No one gives a shit. I can only imagine how she acted in that dentist office. Go to sleep, idiot girl. Everybody's always picking on Kenzie. Thanks, Alicia. The precious little princess was waiting. Dude, I've never met someone that complained about this. Like, yeah, it sucks you have to reschedule, but I would be like, thank goodness, man. I avoided that. Fillings suck. But then again, she's the only one with like 10 at the same time. Brush your teeth. Ew. I wonder if she's brushing her teeth right now because in prison, they give you like a little ass toothpaste. I don't know. I'm sure you can probably buy like a full one, full-sized one, maybe in commissary. I don't know, maybe not though, because they probably use it as masturbating toys. I don't know. I'm just assuming. But she probably doesn't wash her mouth. She probably doesn't brush her teeth very well right now. She's the toothbrush when you think of, was it Gypsy Rose? Was that Gypsy Rose? She's a toddler maturity wise. I know she is. Dom says, you're worried about your teeth. I'm worried about my future and my freedom. Kenzie says, why are you still being mean? Just don't be mean. You told me when I was on the way back that we could hang. I don't get what changed. Like, I just want to come see you. Today was really hard for me. You know that? You're making me so sad. You're being really rude to me for no reason. Please do not leave me on red. No response. Wow, you're so effing nice to me for like 4 days. Then you start being mean to me again. Like, this isn't right, Dom. Dom says, don't text me way too much. My dad's about to be here. She says, okay, then don't leave me on red. And I would text you a lot, LMAO. And when he leaves, can I walk over? She said, the numbness is spreading. Dom says, it's probably going away soon. That's probably why. Kenzie says, I don't know. It moved to my chin. I look slow AF right now. Did your homie dip? Dom says, yeah, it's probably going away soon. She says, you think? I don't know. I looked it up and it says 1 to 3 hours. Dom says, yeah, he just came through, but I might have to run somewhere real quick. She says, can I just walk over right now and you can go with whoever real quick? Dom says, maybe, let me see. She says, I don't really care if I'm there alone for like 20. Can I? Babe? He says, sure. She says, okay, I'm walking now. Dom says, don't talk about earlier. Just forget about it. I won't be mad. She says, okay, babe. And that was at 4:37 p.m. on the 8th. And then it jumps to the next morning. She says, at 11:49 a.m., babe, ask people. I asked Kristen and Lexi said Devin works. Dom says, Davion and Travis invited me to the beach. She says, can I come? That would be fun. Dom says, I don't know if I'm trying to go to the beach, us four. Kenzie says, it would probably be pretty fun. We can smoke there or some shit. Did you mean to leave me on red? He says, didn't know what to say. Kenzie says, so you don't want to go with them? We can go with AJ. Dom said, I said I don't know. Kenzie says, do you not want to go swimming? Dom said, N-word. Never mind. She says, I guess we can swim in the lake if you don't want to go far because of the car. Babe, you don't have to get mad. You know I've been excited about this day for like 4 days. Dom says, what lake? Kenzie says, my lake. We can just slide down the waterfall. But it will only be a little fun. LOL. Dom says, maybe. Kenzie says, also really close beaches are Wallace Lake and Hinkley Lake. Dom says, I don't know if I can swim today. My stomach is still effed up. Kenzie says, really? That for real sucks. I wanted to go swimming so bad today. Try to take a Tums and drink a lot of water. Dom said, it doesn't hurt. It's just messed up. I don't want to have to shit bad all of a sudden when I'm at the lake. Kenzie says, that would suck so bad. Lake bathrooms are gross as hell too. Want to just go to Wallace and bring the canoes, kick it and tan? If you're down, just try to shit before. Dom says, I might just try to get more shit done. She says, oh, so you don't want to go swimming today? Babe? Dom says, I don't know. Jared's looking for a place to swim. She says, I hope he finds somewhere. I really want to swim today. Dom says, me too. She says, peaches are so good. I'm eating one. If we go swimming, we got to go soon, she said. It's about to peak. Babe, she says at 1:16 p.m. Dom says, why would we do that? She says, what do you mean? Dom said, because then I'd have to drive when it's the most hot. Kenzie said, true, but that's when it would be the best time to swim. Did he find a spot? Dom says he did, but the girl's dad is a cop. How much money do we have left in the account? Kenzie said, $312. What's wrong with the girl's dad being a cop? I'm down to go. Dom says, we can't smoke there. She says, oh, that's gay. If anything, we can go in your car to smoke. Dom says, yeah, when it's 90 degrees and her dad is a cop, very smart. Kenzie says, true. I mean, we can just smoke before. Dom says, I don't know. I might just have you do an order for me. It's really long though. She says, I'm at the lake with Roz and Lana at 1:51 p.m. I'll do it though. Do you still want to go to Wallace Lake today though? Dom says, I don't know who Roz is. Kenzie says, a daycare kid. Want to hang soon? Dom says, oh yeah, maybe. Let me see what I have to do. She says, okay, let me know. I'm still trying to swim. I'm sweating. Dom says, me too. My house freezing and it's way too hot. Kenzie said, LMAO, your house is always so cold. Dom says, that AC is fire. She says, LMAO, I'm tanning. Dom says, you're going to get brown AF. Kenzie said, I was out for a while. I just went in. He says, I think we found someone with the pool. Kenzie said, who? Bet. Hannah has a pool. I seen her on story. That was at 2:29 p.m. Then she says, don't get mad, please. But to be honest, I'm kind of annoyed because I've been telling you for a couple days that I want to go swimming on this day. And now it's the day and you don't want to go anywhere. Please don't get mad. Dom says, yeah, but you only say, let's go to Wallace Lake. And unless I really want to go, I don't really want to drive in my car. Kenzie says, yeah, I wish you had a car with AC, and Hinkley Lake is close too. I'm saying Wallace because it's close. I just want to get in any water. Dom says, get in your lake. She says, and I know Tyler T-Rex. Dom says, T-Rex what? She says, that's a great idea. Just let me go swim alone. He said when he gets his license soon that he'll go places with us. His seats in his car have AC. Dom said, and Hannah probably wouldn't let us swim at her pool. Kenzie says, I think she would. Dom says, oh, Tyler said he would. Tyler's a little cupcake. Kenzie said, yeah, he swipes up and said he'd be down to come with us. LOL. That's funny AF. Dom says, for real though, I could just hug him. He's always nice AF. Kenzie said, right? He's always been the nicest one. Tyler will always be a homie. Did Jared find any pools? Dom says, I don't think so. She says, want to just go to Hinkley Lake? It's close. Dom said, what's there? I don't know what it looks like. Kenzie says, look it up. The cliff jumping spot. It looks nice. I've never been there. My mom said it's close, so what you think about it? Dom says, I don't see cliff jumping. I see a waterfall. Kenzie said, Whip's Ledge is in the same area as Hinkley Lake. It's a part of it. Dom said, Whip's is hella rocks. Where could we cliff jump? She says, yeah, I think so. Look it up. Want to go? He says, Whip's is hella rocks. Where would we cliff jump? Kenzie said, you just asked me. And I said, yeah, I think so. I think there's a place, but mostly cliffs and caves. Dom said, where? She said, at Whip's Ledge. Dom said, where at Whip's Ledge? It's huge. Have you ever been there? Kenzie says, no, I told you I haven't. LOL. I looked at pics on Google though. We should go. Dom says, no, we're not going. I'm cool on doing anything. She said, WTF. Why did you just change your mind? That's for real so annoying. Dom says, because you made me mad and you don't know what you're talking about. Kenzie says, I do know what the F I'm talking about, Dom. Shake my effing head. Dom said, I'm not trying to drive to Whips to sweat my ass off on some rocks. Kenzie said, there's water there that we can swim in. Dom says, I said, where could we cliff jump? Whips is hella rocks. And you said, yeah, I think so. But yeah, I'm cool. Kenzie said, if there's no cliff jumping spot, we can go to the lake that's right next to it. This is for real annoying. Dom says, yeah, I'm annoyed too. She says, you're annoyed for no reason. I'm just trying to swim on a hot ass day and you're here telling me I don't know what I'm talking about and being rude. Like if there's no cliff jumping spot, we could easily go to the lake that's 4 seconds away. And if you don't want to drive, my mom can take us. Dom says, nah, I'm cool now. She said, thanks for making a day that could have been fun, not fun. You need to stop getting mad so fast. Today would have been so fun. Dom says, okay. She says, what the F, Dom? Are you really about to just not do anything with me? Dom says, we can chill later. She says, but it's not going to be hot out anymore. It's really hot right now. I want to go swimming. But of course, no one wants to effing go. Like these days, everyone would rather just sit on their ass and be lazy than go outside. And it's just so annoying. Dom says, I want to go, but I need to figure something out with my anger. Dom said, that's good. We can just go another day. When can we hang today, though? Do you want me to bring some Dippin' Dots? Dom says, yes, we can hang soon. She says, LOL, okay. Let me know. When? Because I'm tanning. 4:54 p.m. She says, how soon can we hang, babe? He says, I don't know, probably in a little. She says, KK. Dom says, you want to just chill in an hour? She said, at 6? That's fine. Dom says, okay. She says, babe, could you give Layla? She asked me if I know anyone mobile. Dom says, yeah, I can. You can come over now. Bring Dippin' Dots. She says, okay, bet. About to be on my way. On my way, she says, at 5:31 p.m. She says, Dom says, do you have Dippin' Dots? How did you get them? Kenzie said, whose car? Dom said, what? She said, I'm mad AF, by the way. Dom says, I know. Kenzie said, and you'd left. I'm so mad, I can't even get effing comfortable. Dom says, well, I kind of had to. I can't be waiting on these things. Kenzie said, shake my head. You could have called him and told me what to get too. I'm sure Trevor knows. Dom says, can't. And I don't know what you mean, but I'll just talk to you about it when I'm home. Wait, so they must have hung out. And then, I don't know. You could have called him and told him what to get too. I'm sure Trevor knows. He says, I'll talk to you about it when I'm home at 8:00 p.m. Dom, and then she says, are you sneaking back over, then leaving again? Dom says, I thought you would be inside, but I had to be quick. She says, mm-hmm. Dom said, and the F you mean sneaking. I took Bartola to the ATM and ran to the house real quick to grab him a bag. Kenzie said, then you're leaving? If I'm sitting out there alone for more than a minute, I'm going to flip out. Dom said, for more than a what? She said, for more than an hour. I'm already mad AF. It's going to be 8:30 soon. Dom says, just left the ATM. She says, okay, so are you on the way back? It's 2 minutes till 8:30. Dom says, we're about to do the order. She said, shake my head. I knew it was going to take like 2 hours. So fun. I'm sitting here alone longer than when we chilled. Dom says, it's only been an hour, not even. She says, it was an hour at 8:30. You said you would be back in an hour. Like, rush. Shake my head. Thanks. Now I'm getting tired. I'm so salty right now. She says at 8:52 p.m. He says, finishing order right now. She said, that's weird how it takes over 20 minutes to do an order. I usually only take 5 to 10 minutes, no matter how big it is. And you don't really need to be there when they finish the order. Thanks for making me wait an hour and a half. Shake my head. He says, about to dip in a sec. I said hour and a half. Kenzie says, you said an hour, but we can pretend you said that. Dom says, I said I'd try for an hour and I really did. I went to my house, then Bartula to the ATM. And that's at 9:07 p.m. So I'm assuming she's home. She can't read the room nor him unless he straight up says, I don't want you to go. Isn't Tyler? No, I think they're talking about a different Tyler here. Take the hint. Nobody wants to go play with you. I hate how she's always like, I want to go swimming. Go by yourself or go with your mom. I don't know. Your sister? Like, Dom doesn't want to go swim. She said she wanted to be there even if he's not there. Yeah. It's weird. He says, I went to my house and then Bartula at the ATM at 9:07 p.m. And then it jumps to 2:30 in the morning. She says, I just got my period. Hit me up when you're awake. He says, what up at 11:11 a.m. She says, babe, what are you doing today? It's going to be a rainy day. Do you want to hang today? He says, maybe. She says, okay, let me know, babe. What are you doing? Let me come over, she says. He says, I'm looking for cars right now. She said, still looking at Lexus? He said, Lexus, Lincoln, or Chrysler, probably. She said, how much are those cars? What's the most expensive? After you do that, can I come over? Dom says, those are all the brands, so I couldn't tell you how expensive. She says, oh, okay. Questions her on message. Dom says, maybe I'm just chilling right now. My back hurts. She said, okay, how's your stomach today? Let me know soon, though. He said, it's a little better. It's making hella noises, but hasn't been hurting. What are you doing right now? Want to FaceTime for a sec? She said, yes, FaceTime me. I'm tanning. She says, are you mad? He says, yeah. She says, okay, hit me up after you do your car shit. I'll talk to you later. That's at 1:27 p.m. Then at 2:48 p.m. on the 10th, June 10th, she says, what you doing? She says, babe. He says, eating? Question mark. She says, do you want to do something at 4? Why the question mark? LMAO. Dom says, like what? She says, go to Nelson Ledge or a lake or a beach. I'm just trying to get in some water. Dom says, no. She says, you don't want to? Did I do something wrong or are you still mad? Okay, well, me and Maddie might go to Nelson Ledge. Never mind. It's like an hour away. Dom says, I know. That's why I get mad. She says, sorry, babe. When you're in a better mood, hit me up if you want to go swimming. Kenzie, no one wants to go swimming. Like, no one wants to go swimming with you in nasty lake water where we're going to get a brain-eating bacteria that goes up our nose. Like, no one wants to do that shit. Sorry for those of you that do like to go in the water. I'm not like a let me go on the lake type of girl. She's the queen. You're like, no shit, Melly. No shit. My stomach hurts. I'm so stressed right now. I hate my mom. I hate Natalie. Right? She gives him so much stress he can't stay out of the toilet. Straight tortured the poor guy. Dude, I know. Beautifully broken. Straight up or not, she still don't even... I know. Nothing will stop her. I'm pretty sure she has... Something has eaten her brain already. Too funny, dude. Too funny. Yes, probably had ulcers from dealing with her. I wouldn't be surprised. She says, when you're in a better mood, hit me up if you want to go swimming. And then he doesn't respond. And she says, bruh, Bianca threw a whole thing of soda at Gracie and soaked her. Dom says, bruh, Gracie gotta work her. Kenzie says, right? She was walking to work too. She says, pull up to Rocky River if you want. It's on the down low. Dom says, send pic. She sends a pic. She says, bring backwood. Dom said, is that Lake Erie? Wait, did someone just mention Lake Erie? Oh yeah, someone did. Lake Erie is not all that at all. Oh, she's talking about it right now. Midwest fresh, pretty safe to swim in. You know what? No. I don't go in no community pool where everyone pees. I don't go in no lake where I'm gonna get a bacteria. And I don't go in no big body of water like an ocean or anything like that where there's gonna be sharks and anacondas. Okay, so don't be looking for me on the beach, guys, because I won't be there. So yeah, it's true. Don't be thinking I'm about to be out there. You can catch me tanning outside and on my patio. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's funny. She says, is that Lake Erie? Kenzie says, yeah. Water deep AF. Come, it's fun AF. No one's here and hella people smoking weed. Dom says, nah. She says, you don't want to come? Dom says, nah, I'm not trying to drive. She said, it's low-key far, but like no one's here. Dom said, it's too windy to drive highway with my windows down anyway. She said, yeah, true. We got to come here soon. Maddie got Davion to come. She says, babe, have him drive you. He said he will. Dom says, yeah, I don't know, maybe. She says, text him. He can drive you here. It's already 5:33 p.m. Like, no one wants to go swimming in the dark, Kenzie. Like, unless they want to be eaten or drown. Like, no one's trying to do that. Go home, get your little ass in the shower, and go to bed with your your warm milk. Drink your warm milk. LOL, I live on Lake Superior. You do? Alicia says, I love swimming. Really? Okay, yeah. See, that's you won't catch me swimming. I do know how to swim, but I'd be still drowning or something. I'm in that water. I'm swimming back to the buoy. I'm floating back. Kenzie says, he can drive you here. Dom says, is it warm? She says, hot AF. Dom says, the water. Kenzie says, water's just a bit cold. It's hot and feels really good. I was in deep AF. Dom said, it's deep? What do you mean? She says, yes, it's really deep. Have Davion take you. Are you coming, babe? Dom says, I didn't hit him up. She says, why? Babe, come on, try. Dom says, I might go hang with Rich and Kyle. She says, you're really not going to come here when we have a ride for you? Dom says, did they leave yet? It's going to rain in an hour or two. I wouldn't get there for half hour either. Kenzie says, hit him up. My mom said the rain is probably going to skip over. If it does rain, though, there's a spot for shelter. Dom says, I don't want to hit him up. He probably already left. Okay, so since when is Natalie Shirilla like, what do you call those people who like read the weather? Wait, not a meteorologist, right? What's the word? I know you guys are gonna tell me right now in the chat. Yeah, it is a meteorologist. I was right. People who tell the weather are primarily meteorologists, scientists who study the forecast atmospheric conditions. Okay, yes. Natalie, you're not the meteorologist. So she says, if it does rain, there's a spot for shelter. Dom says, I don't want to hit him up. He probably already left. I'll probably just go chill with Kyle. Kenzie says, he didn't. Text him, babe. Dom says, are you sure? It's already 6:06 p.m. Like, unless you're going to do night swimming or getting drunk, I'm not going to be going on the lake at nighttime. No way. No way, Jose. She says, yes. Dom says, yeah, I don't know. She says, sad face. Please, babe. Dom says, yeah, I don't know. By the time I get there, it wouldn't be warm anymore. Kenzie says, it's hot AF. Dom says, I don't even think they're going. They hit me up to re-up. I think I'm about to go chill with Rich, Kyle, and Ty. She says, okay, babe, have fun. Hang later? He says, they ain't going, right? Probably not. She says, I don't know. Maddie was texting him. Dom says, F Maddie. Kenzie says, why, babe? Dom says, I don't F with y'all lately. She says, me? What? Dom? Question mark. Why the F you make me unfollow you? You can't just be doing that shit when you're mad. You tell me to hang with my friends when you do shit like that. I did nothing. I even invited you. That shit is not cool. If you're not home, be super careful. There's about to be a really bad storm. Bruh, answer. I'm worried about you. Dom says, okay, I'm at 2%. She says, where are you? Please charge it. And read what I said. He says, not right now. She says, where are you at 7:48 p.m.? Are you with Rich Kyle? Babe, can you please text back, not dry AF? He says, yeah. She says, hit me up when you're home at 8:23 p.m. And you still reply dry. You're really upsetting me, but I don't care. Shake my head, Dom. Wow, you're really just going to go on D&D? You're effing rude. I do nothing to you and you act like this. No response. You want me to hang out with my friends. When I finally do, you have to do some gay shit like this. Honestly, I'm salty AF. You be acting like this for no reason. Dom says, okay, at 9:18 p.m. She says, WTF, question mark, question mark. You're just going to say, okay? Like, what the F did I do? You just get mad over dumbass shit and take it out on me. Like, why do you think that's okay? You didn't even text me back when I told you I was worried about you. No response. You can go hang with your friends and be nice, but when it comes to me, you just have to be disrespectful AF. How do you think it makes me feel when you're mean AF all day? He says, okay, I'm done. She says, done with what? Done being a dick for no reason? Question mark. Like, apologize to me. I did nothing. Or are you going home? This is effed up, honestly. No response. She emphasizes her own message. Don't take it out on me. I did nothing. If anything, you know I'm going to try to fix you being mad. You've been mad for like 2 days and you've just been taking it out on me, and it does not make me happy. Like, I try to hang, then I get blocked and hated on all day. Dom says, yeah, I didn't block you. She says, yeah, to what? Then what happened to Insta? Why am I not following you? I was following you before. Dom said, it's cool. I'm sorry. She says, are you on the way home? And it's really not cool and it really upsets me, but I forgive you. And of course, you're still on D&D. Dom says, no, I'm here for a bit. You didn't go to my house, right? She says, wow, now I'm mad AF. Dom says, how do you know I wasn't home? She says, because you told me you're going to hang with weird Kyle, bruh. You think I'm going to sit at your house like you're being a dick to me all day when I finally get to hang with one of my friends? Like, WTF. I do not get it. All you effing care about is what you're doing and how you feel. Holy shit. He says, okay. She says, and I love when you're just mean to me all day when I finally hang with one of my friends. Thanks, Dom. You could just made it better, but of course you have to say something like that. The one day when I finally hang with my friend, you have to do this and make me flip out. Dom says, what do you mean? What did I say? She says, of course, you don't even know what you said. Like, you say sorry, then say another disrespectful ass thing. You don't even care what you did to me today hurt me. All I did was try to be with you, and you get mad and take your anger out on me when I'm just trying to see you. He says, okay, I won't do that. Just leave me alone for a while. She says, well, you already did. And I always leave you the F alone when you're with your friends. I don't when you go on D&D, reply dry AF, or take 3 hours to answer. Like, if you just answer at a normal time and reply with something more than, okay, I won't be annoyed. It's not too much to ask for. It's just how normal people text. Dom says, okay. She says, and you did it again. Dom says, what else do I say? Kenzie says, quote unquote, okay, sorry, I'll get off D&D and try to reply faster. It's not hard, Dom. I just told you not to reply dry. She emphasizes her own message. Dom says, okay, at 9:52 p.m. She says, reply with more than something than okay. Dom said, that's for shorter. Kenzie says, OMG, I'm done with this shit. I swear, you try to hurt me. Go have effing fun with that R word. You're effing rude. I swear, I tell you how you can fix it and you just make it 30 times worse. Dom says, look, it'll be better soon. Kenzie said, actually, that's not how it works. Dom says, but yeah, I'll talk to you later at 9:54 p.m. Then he says, I'm sorry. She says, yeah, okay. You're still on D&D, probably too. Dom says, I am done doing things for the night. She says, done what? Being mean to me for no reason? Dom says, no, doing everything. She said, so you're leaving old Kyle's house? Dom says, what? No, I don't know. Kenzie says, if you're done with everything, are you leaving? He says, no, right now he's on the phone with all his people. Kenzie said, you can't just tell me we done talking, by the way. I'm still going to be hurt. Saying that only makes things worse. He's weird AF. Dom says, he's doing his work pretty much. Kenzie says, then why are you there if he's working? I do not like that guy at all. He's sus and weird AF. And I don't know if it's just your attitude today or you're being with Kyle's making you mean. And of course, you leave me on red. LMAO, can't catch a break. You just keep doing that shit that makes me upset. Dom says, because I just want to chill. She says, question mark, question mark. I don't know what that means. You can just chill when you're being mean AF to your babe for no reason? Question mark. That's not good. And you're still on D&D. Holy shit. Like, you say sorry, then just do the same shit. Sorry isn't even going to mean anything. You're making me so effing mad. Dom says, I don't want to talk on the phone. She says, if you don't just get off effing D&D, I won't call. If you just get off effing D&D, I won't call you. Like, you make shit so much more hard. Like, I could effing scream right now. I'm so effing nice to you and I put up with you getting mad like all the time and you still doing this shit. You make me look so dumb when you treat me like this. F that Kyle. I hope he moves away and never comes back. What an effing creep. You can show him this shit too, so he stays the F away. How many times do I have to tell you, I'll chill out when you get off D&D and start answering fast? Like, is it that effing hard? I swear to God, this shit makes me so mad. I can't believe you think it's okay to take your anger out on me. I don't fuck with y'all lately. The only day I hang with my friend. Dom finally responds at 10:15 and says, I'm sorry, I was eating food. She says, you're not even there? Are you effing kidding me? You literally lied to me? Dom says, what do you mean? She says, where are you? Tell me right now. I don't know. I know you weren't at Kyle's house. I know you're not there. Dom says, I went home. I just got here like 10 minutes ago, maybe less. She says, then why did Vinny tell me you weren't there? Dom says, I ate a little food because I wasn't. I left. Kenzie said, oh, so you never went to Kyle's house? Dom says, no, I was there. Then I left. Kenzie said, then why did Vinny tell me you were never there, Dom? I'm so mad right now. Today effing sucks. The whole day, I just have to feel like it was my fault when I did effing nothing. Dom says, hold up. Really? Kenzie said, he said you were. Dom said, no, you must have misread it. Kenzie said, he said you were there. He said he left before you. Dom said, oh, okay. Kenzie said, I was trying to get that creep's number. Dom says, no, done. You should meet him. He's nice. Kenzie says, yeah, I don't know about that. Let me come over, she says at 10:20 p.m. Dom says, no, not tonight. She says, did Kyle come back to cuddle or something? Dom says, yes. Kenzie says, yeah, I'm not meeting him. If I see him, I'm going to punch the F out of him. And FaceTime me. Dom says, LMAO. No, he's pretty cool. Kenzie says, well, when you're mean to me the whole time you're there, it makes me think he's the one making you mean. If he's so nice, why when I was getting treated so bad by you? And I said, FaceTime me. I'm going to for real flip the F out. D&D still? Dom says, no, I wasn't. She said, like, for real? Don't effing lie, Dom. You literally told me you don't F with me lately. Like, what the F do you even mean? The one day I hang with my friend, you don't F with me. I can literally go up and screenshot and you saying that to me. Doesn't respond. Nice, leaving me on red. Are you just going to try to make this worse? Like, you're being so dumb. Dom says, I didn't even try to leave you on red. Look, let's just talk tomorrow. It'll be cool. She said, it's not cool though. You were pretty much ignoring me all day. Like, it really makes my day stressful and hard. You can't even get off D&D for me or FaceTime me. I'll forgive you when I see a change. It's important that I get treated right, Dom. I don't ask for a lot. I literally let you keep me unadded on Snap. Dom says, no, I wasn't. I was only when I was doing shit. Kenzie says, you never told me you were doing shit though. FaceTime me right now, she says at 10:30 p.m. I don't know why I have to type it 30 times for you to acknowledge that I asked you to FaceTime me. OMFG, I'm for real gonna freak out. This shit makes me want to punch myself in the effing face. If you don't FaceTime me, you don't care. Thanks, Dom. You answer so fast. He says, I'm talking to Angelo, then I was gonna go to bed. Why? It's cool. She says, you can't FaceTime me before bed? You can't say it's cool because nothing happens to you. I was the one who had to sit here and take you being mean to me all day. Like the one day I hang out with my friend. Shit makes me really upset. Dom says, I will. She says, you will FaceTime me before you go to bed? Dom says, yeah. Hang out with your friends more. I won't. She says, that shit makes me not want to be with my friends. Like, it makes shit really hard. When you're being mean, that's what all my focus goes to. Then I have a bad day. Like, I don't want you to tell me you're done effing with me. Dom says, okay, I won't. She says, when are you going to bed? Do not forget to FaceTime me. She emphasizes her own message. Dom says, in a little, gonna chill for a sec, brush my teeth, then I'll go to bed. She says, okay, cool. Look at Insta. 11:06 p.m. Can you FaceTime me now? Just FaceTime me now. I feel like you're going to wait till I fall asleep. She emphasized her own message. Dom. Oh my God, I swear to God, I'm mad. Dom says, I think I found the car I'm going to get. It's in Strongsville too. She said, FaceTime me. You can show me when we're FaceTiming. What brand of car? She emphasizes her own message. Twice. Just FaceTime me, Dom. Oh my God. He says, I'm about to in a sec. Then sends a picture of a car and another picture of a car. She says, how long? Wait. So he sends a picture of a car at 11:49 p.m. And then at 11:24 a.m., she says, how long do I leave it in? Dom said, how soaked is it? She said, FaceTime me, I'll show you. Like, not dripping, but it looks wet. Dom says, keep it in for an hour probably. You probably don't need that much time. She says, okay, I'll wear it till 12:10. Do you want to hang at 1? When are you going to check that jag out? Dom says, dude hasn't answered yet. She says, okay, I'm really happy for you, by the way. It makes me happy AF. You find a car you like so much. She says, babe, answer ASAP. Are my glasses at your house? I'm about to freak out. And do I wash my hair with soap and conditioner? I'm in the shower. Answer. Dom says, wash it with soap, but only your roots. She says, babe, Insta. I might just do the little boat and 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆 one. Dom says, no, do a different song. That's my song. Kenzie says, or pull up living like a rock star. It's in Trap Star. Dom says, just do a little 𝗪𝗏𝗏 or trippy read lyric or 𝗲𝗾𝗃. She says, I found a good 𝗲𝗾 one too. Quote unquote, sometimes I be so damn high, I don't know what to say. What's one better than trippy or the 𝗲𝗾 one? Babe, what one? Dom says, I don't know. Just don't copy the little boat one. I'll probably use that. She says, LMAO, baby, I'm not going to use that. Trippy red or 𝗲? He says, trippy red because you can probably find a good one. She says, quote unquote, pulled up living life like a rock star. Dom says, whatever you want, babe. Kenzie says, I'm going to find more. Do you want Charlie subs? She's so dumb. She's trying to find a lyric for her pictures. Do you remember when we all used to do that? Like, we used to like put a lyric under our selfies. Or no, did you guys never do that? Because I did. Dom's music's called Dime Boys, and yeah, it is. I've never listened to it. Maybe we should do a live where we listen to it. I know I'll be demonetized on that, but we can still do it. Maybe members only. Someone needs to do this sleeper. Where's her therapist? Where's her mama? Where's her daddy? Good question. I'd be like, chill, dog. He's got more patience than me. Oh, yeah. She says, when I leave the mall. Oh, wait, do you want Charlie subs when I leave the mall? He says, yes. She says, okay, bet. I do too. I'm hanging with Lincoln. Dom said, okay, I know. She says, hit me up when you're free, baby, at 4:49 p.m. He says, okay. She says, what y'all doing at 5:51? Lincoln has to leave now, so I'm home again. Shake my head, LOL. Dom says, did you get subs? Kenzie says, I'm gonna go back now before I come over. Dom said, oh, okay, they're making fish next door, I think. Kenzie said, what kind? I never really eat fish that much. Also, you unadded her, right? Dom says, yeah. She says, what fish y'all making? Or do you still want Charlie's? Babe, she says, if you don't get in, let me come over, babe. I miss you. He says, okay, baby. She says, when you going there? You got to tell me if you get in, she says at 9:07 p.m. Dom says, they're talking about it. I'll let you know. She says, okay. Dom says, I'm excited for this jag. The dude answered. Kenzie says, no way. What did he say? Bruh, guess what happened? I was literally just sitting there listening to music, and this lady was trying to hide and record me. Like WTF, she says at 9:19 p.m. Then she says, good night, babe, at 1:42 a.m. He says, good night, babe. He says, you still up? She says, yeah. He says, we got to make the mozzarella sticks tomorrow. Kenzie says, oh my God, yes. Dom says, I'm checking out the jag tomorrow around 6. Kenzie said, a.m.? Bruh, why does no one in my house know how not to let the dogs bark at 8 a.m.? She says in the morning at 8:54 a.m. Dom says, you can't stop them. Kenzie said, I just yelled, shut up. It doesn't work. Dom says, I think you should take the plants outside. She says, want me to bring them to your house? My big one's starting to reek. I have them outside right now. I'm scared they're going to fall or break. Dom says, yeah, we can take them here. She says, okay, I'm going to bring them to your house. I want to keep one though, the smallest one. Dom says, okay, keep them coming, LOL. Kenzie says, LMAFO. LMFAO. Why can I spell that for a second? She says, I need to get more seeds started. Also, want to hang early today? And do you think anyone will notice if I wore the same thing I wore yesterday? Dom says, if no one's seen you, who cares? And yeah, I'll let you know when we can hang. She says, LMAO, I was at the mall and Blake and Mars seen me. I'ma just wear it. It was so cute. I want you to see it. Dom says, okay. Topher coming home today. I'm not excited. Kenzie says, oh God. Well, hopefully he's a little better. Dom said, yeah, he's been thinking he's dying lately. I think it's straight bullshit. Kenzie says, are you for real? Is that why he cries? Dom says, he cries for no reason. He honestly do everything for no reason. I think he told Angelo he does that so everyone can take care of him. Kenzie says, WTF. Well, if they letting him leave, he's probably a little bit better. Dom says, I don't know. If he's being weird or R-word, I'm still not going to put up with it. Kenzie says, yeah, I agree with you. I just hope it's better than before. Dom says, if he's not acting up at this point, he probably just deserves it. Then if God would do him like that. Kenzie says, yeah, I don't know, babe. She says, what are you doing? She says, FaceTime. He says, you want to come over and bring the plants? So his brother was, I think, in a hospital, right? And also he has schizophrenia, right? Topher, his brother. Living life on Dom's dime should be her caption for her pics. Oh my God, that's a good one. That's really sad. Dom says, you want to come over and bring the plants? The whole Topher thing always makes me sad. She says, you want to come over and bring the plants? Kenzie says, yeah, I'll be there in 10. He says, okay, how many you got? She says, 3. I'm bringing 2. I want to keep one. Dom says, we need more. She says, I'm working on it. 4 more are about to be coming in the next couple weeks. Can you scoop? If not, I'll longboard or walk. But I'll have the plants, LOL. Babe, please answer. She questions her on message. Where you at? Can I come in there? She questions her on message. Dom says, I forgot the Pop-Tart. 1 sec. She said, okay, babe. What's going on? She says at 7:07 p.m. Oh, so it jumps from 5:52. She said, what's going on at 7:07 p.m.? He says, I got the car. She said, what? Dom says, waiting on him to give me the plates. She says, OMG. Dom says, I mean, take his plates. I don't have plates. Kenzie says, holy shit. Dom says, but yeah, we in this bitch. Kenzie said, is everything good with it? Did you drive it? Dom says, yes, sir. Scotty drove it. Actually, he said it's good. I'm about to drive it. Kenzie said, this is going to be raw. Dom said, I know. She says, we're going to boon it. Dom said, it's going to smell like straight bag. Kenzie said, music that doesn't cut out. True. Do you have carpe pizza? My mom asked. Never mind. When you coming back? I had a weird ass dream. Oh, wait. So then it jumps to the next morning. She says, never mind. When you coming back? That was on the 12th at 7:36. Then she says at 11:09 a.m. the next morning, I had a weird ass dream. You were in it. It was like Fortnite. I don't know why. You were not on my team though. I don't remember who was, to be honest. My cramps are really bad. Dom says, I'll be on your team next time. She says, I hope. Dom says, I'm sorry, babe. Just try to drink water and relax. Cramps is not enough water in the muscles. I know from experience playing basketball. Kenzie says, I'll get some lemon water soon. Dom says, get it right now. Kenzie said, and when you get the cardboard planters, bring them to me because I need to move the seeds in the dirt soon. She says, and I'm on the potty, babe. He says, okay, I know Bartola's being a bitch about it because Trevor's grandma's home and Trevor ain't there. I'm trying to go get them. Kenzie said, oh, let me check what time they will be there. 12 to 7:30 is when some of the packages are coming. She says, bruh, I accidentally left a plant outside all night and it effing rained. Dom says, is it okay? She said, yeah, it looks fine. I'm just worried. She says, babe, I need you to answer FaceTime. Nice. She says, you so cute at 2:46 p.m. Dom says, thank you, babe. Sorry, my phone died earlier. She said, it's okay, babe. I'm protesting. It's so fun. There's hella racists. She says at 3:38 p.m. Bruh, I just seen Audrey. I flipped her and her mom off. Dom says, LMAO. Kenzie says, bruh, I seen Anne-Marie too. Dom says, where are you? She says, I left. I was at Town Square. Dom said, what's that? She said, in front of the police station. Dom said, oh, okay. She says, what are you doing at 4:54 p.m.? Do you want to hang soon? Dom says, I probably have to do some shit. Then yes. She says, okay, babe, tell me when. Dom says, okay, babe, maybe I can pick you up, but I'm not going to want to try to get in the driveway because I got to run to Xavier's. Kenzie said, that's fine. I'm about to go get some snacks. Then let me know when you're trying to scoop. Dom says, okay. She says, hang soon at 5:58 p.m. Babe? Dom? No respond. She emphasizes her message. Yeah, my phone died again. Super busy. She says, how soon? Dom says, I don't know. He says, let me get more stuff done real quick. She said, what's going on now? Where you at? She says at 7:24 p.m. Dom says, babe, when you're up. Oh, wait. So that was at 7:24 p.m. And then it jumps to the next morning. Dom says, babe, when you're up, hit me up. We got to get shit done today at 6:27 a.m. She says, I'm up. Hi, babe. Dom says, hi, babe. Come over. She says, okay, give me 10. I'm replanting seeds. I'm about to come soon. Dom says, yeah, come before I get up. She says, okay, should I take out the braids? On my way. Dom says, bet. That was at 10:55 a.m. Then she says at 8:35 p.m., your mom kicked Morgan out. Oh. Then it jumps to the next day. She says, morning, babe. I'm starting to get anxiety when I hear wanna hang soon. Does anyone believe Dom's phone dies this much? No. Or maybe on purpose. We'll do one more day. Kenzie says, morning, babe. I'm wearing your hoodie and it smells like you. He says, aw, cutie. She says, what are you doing today, babe? He says, not sure. She says, I worked out for so long. Dom says, LMAO, you need to only for like half hour. Go finish the book now, babe. She says, I'm watching a movie. It's a good movie. Dom says, what movie? She said, it's called The Help. It's so good. Do you want to chill today? Dom says, maybe. Depends what I have to do. She says, I'm out of dabs, babe. Dom says, okay. She says, what are you doing at 5:04 p.m.? Dom says, chilling with Sheen, and then Trevor's coming to do the fencing. Kenzie says, oh, I thought me and you were going to do that. Dom says, do what? Trevor's going to do it. He's supposed to do it. Kenzie says, oh, okay. What are you doing right now, babe? You need to text me back more, babe. You low-key been distant today. He says, I was showing Trevor a YouTube video. We can hang out later, babe. I've been busy, he says at 6:39 p.m. Kenzie said, oh, okay, babe. Did you and Trevor get the fence up? He says, yeah. She says, okay, good. Dom says, need zip ties? Kenzie said, is it just you and Trevor? I don't know where to get zip ties. Dom says, no, Sheen and Bartula. She says, okay, hit me up when they leave. Have fun, babe. And that was at 6:45. And then she says, what are you doing at 7:54? Babe, text back. Dom says, we're playing basketball. She says, okay, when are they leaving? Dom says, we're going to play another game. Kenzie says, then they leaving? Dom says, I don't know. She says, okay, I'll talk to you later. And that's at 8:16. Then she says, I miss you. He says, we'll chill tonight or tomorrow. Sorry, babe. Angelo got so pissed that we won. Kenzie said, oh God, who was on your team? And okay, baby. Dom says, me, Sheen, Bartula versus Angelo, Trev, and Trevor. She says, LMFAO, are y'all still chilling? He says, yeah. She says, let's chill early tomorrow. I got some clothes today, she says at 9:36 p.m. Or if I'm up and you're free before 11, we can hang for a little. Dom says, what did you get? Send me pics of you in them. She says, I will in a bit. I don't feel that good because of my period. Dom says, yeah, and I might be home before 11. We all went to Trevor's to smoke real quick. He says, oh, I'm sorry, babe. She says, I hope you're home before 11. I'm going to send you pics soon, though. I got some cute ass shit. Dom says, okay, bet. She says, okay, babe. She said, I sent you pics. There's a little surprise at the end, by the way. Ew. What kind of surprise? Gross. She says, there's a little surprise at the end, by the way. You gonna be home before 11? Dom says, probably not. We can probably chill tomorrow. I have to chill with Kyle at one point, though. I don't think you can come. She says, okay, why couldn't I come? And just hit me up tomorrow early then. You can leave and chill with Kyle for however long. He says, okay. She said, not too long because I still want to see you. She says, what are you guys doing at 10:50 p.m.? He said, just chilling. I think I might go home soon. She says, we can hang if you drive me home. LOL. Dom says, I'm trying to go to bed. She said, oh, okay. Then tomorrow would be fine too. He says, I'll let you know. And then it's the 16th. We're going to stop there for today. I'll do half the month tonight and then we'll finish the rest of it tomorrow. Child corn surprise. I know, honestly. We've already been live for 2 hours. Time flies when you're having fun. Kenzie honestly is more than toxic than borderline psycho-obsessive. I don't know what this is. I've never been this obsessed with my boyfriend. I've never texted someone 780 times in a day. She's being sneaky. She's being way too nice. This is when he starts changing. I feel like this is the month that he starts changing a little bit because remember, when she used to say like, let's hang out in the morning at like 6 a.m. and stuff, he wasn't down. And when she's like, let's hang out tonight, like when you're home, like before bed, and he's more like open to it, I feel like he's somewhat starting to get into her controlling ways, you know? It took her like a year to do it, but she accomplishes it. Here's some tea. Natalie's 51 years old. Steve is 69. He'll be close to 90 when and if she gets parole. Really? He's 69? No way. I didn't think that was whoa. That's kind of crazy to think about. Facts. He does start doubting himself and other options as a man. Yeah. She broke him. Wait till you guys see how weird it gets in 2021. It's like the opposite. These women today are crazy and deranged. I don't put it past. She wore him down. But you guys saw that he was like trying to break up with her and he's like, we need breaks, we need breaks, we need to break up. And then she like sucks him in. I agree. She wore him down though. Anyways, I'll schedule we'll finish June tomorrow. I might go live after this. So I don't want to make the lives too long for the replay viewers. Shout out to all the replay viewers. Kyle got a girlfriend too around then. I wonder if he had anything to do with it. Honestly, as a 29-year-old male, I've been through this and I don't think he's falling for it. I think he's starting to think he's stuck with her. It's like he gave up. Wore him down, broke him down. She crushed that boy's soul and where are his parents to tell him to get away from her? His mom is a lawyer too, but like I said, I don't think his mom knew how bad it was. You'll see why later. You'll see why later. But I do believe that Natalie, Shirilla, and Steve know exactly who their daughter is, and that's why they didn't care that she was like over at his house, moving in with him. She ends up forcing herself into his house, moving in. Like once we start seeing all of that, you'll see. You'll see how different it is. And how they totally gave up responsibility of their daughter because they assumed that Dom would take care of it. And that's wild because they're not married. They don't have a baby together. Like she's still technically living under your roof. Yeah, they do. Thanks for the bedtime story. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's why Natalie still plays the card she does in her calls. Yeah, I'm gonna put together a video. I think I want to do some jail calls tomorrow, so I'll add it in. I had 𝗲𝐺𝐸 scheduled instead of Kenzie tonight, but I wanted to do Kenzie. So I do plan to be live tomorrow, early and all day. So, but I'll definitely be back tonight. So make sure your notifications are on. I don't know if we're gonna come back with trial, after dark, something, but definitely keep an eye on your notifications. I will be back tonight. Tap that like button on the way out. 2 hours in. Oh, also, I have a live ready for, I was thinking we can go over Kenzie court paperwork. So I'll schedule that for tomorrow as well. And then we'll talk more Kenzie then. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Evie. Thank you, Cree. Please, please, please. Thanks, Debbie. Tap the like button on the way out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.